Hello everyone, we are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Vince.
And I'm Brandon.
Hey Vince, what are we talking about today, man?
Today, we're going to talk about whether or not movies should try to be quotable, or if they should only be quotable if they naturally are.
Yeah, cool. So
I think I said that wrong, but you'll
quotable films, yeah. So should we attempt to make movies quotable? Why don't you start? You came up with this one. What is your immediate gut reaction to the topic you came up with?
I feel like a lot of movies try this. They try to be quirky and quotable, and you have things like Anchorman that are a result, where things are silly by having one-liners that are supposed to be funny because they're non-sequiturs, maybe, which can sometimes be funny, but are often not. So my gut reaction is that a movie should try to be funny and then be quotable if it is. So you shouldn't be... I think it's a noble effort to try to be funny. I don't think it's a noble effort to try to be quotable because, you know what, humor is all about context most of the time. So if everything you have in your movie is a one-liner, then where's the context?
Great Scott! That's brilliant!
Yeah, I think that quotes in films, and I'm going to say even beyond comedy, just like anything, because a lot of things we think of as quotable aren't even just comedies, right? Like you know, as you just referenced, we have this in dramas, we have this in action films, especially action films, right? You know, you have like the protagonist or even the villain's like catchphrase, right? But I think, Vince, that quotes are just like singles. On the radio. You don't know which ones are gonna make it.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's a good point.
And so to sit there and write a script and say this is the quote people are gonna keep quoting, you don't know that. It might not catch on. You know what I mean? Like I think sometimes you have a pretty good idea. Like when they made Terminator, you know, I'll be back. They probably figured that would be quoted a lot. And a lot of the time, it's the thing that's repeated is the thing that sticks with you. But let me ask you this question: with that example, when Schwarzenegger says "I'll be back" and everybody quoted that. Is it because it was really that clever, or is it because they love that movie?
You know,
if that had been in a bad movie, I don't think people would have quoted it all that much.
I think it's how he said it.
Well, that's part of it too, but it's all within the context of that film, right? It's not just that line.
Right.
When you say "I'll be back," you're not just going, "Wasn't Schwarzenegger funny that time he said that?" You're thinking about that movie.
Oh, of course you are.
So maybe a quotable line is quotable because of the significance of the line.
Well, here's something that I read about a year ago, I think. It was talking about the significance of quotable movies, and that the male mind specifically is set up to take these things out of movies and use them in conversation to get across a point that they otherwise couldn't make themselves. Does that make sense? Like if you're going along and then you quote a movie to express
thing now?
Well, the male brain is set up this way.
Okay.
Because males don't, typically speaking, males don't show their feelings. They don't express their feelings in a huge range the way a female does.
So are you implying that men are more prone to want to use metaphor than women?
It was the article I was reading was
maybe
implying
referential.
It was implying something along that. But what it was like, if a man was feeling an emotional reaction to something one of his friends was saying or something, but he didn't want to say, "Oh man, that makes me tear up" or something, he would use a line from a movie that had that sentiment built in.
And they both know what he's talking about. So
because
then,
he's used the movie line.
Yeah, so then they don't have to dwell on it.
Yeah, and you can process it because it evokes the same kind of feeling.
I never thought of that.
It's interesting that you say that, because so often in movies or in TV shows that there's always a woman in a group of guys, and the group of guys say something. There was some TV show where one of the guys said, "We're going to take it to the mattresses," and this woman said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Take it to the mattresses. It's The Godfather. It means we're going to war."
Exactly.
And then she said, "Well, how am I supposed to know that?" They said, "Because it's in The Godfather."
Yeah.
Now, I would kind of think that that's maybe a misconception. Like, I feel like that's kind of preying on a stereotype.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's kind of a stereotype too, but consider
I do
that
believe
doesn't mean
that it would
there's
be more
no
common.
truth in it. But yeah, that it would be more common with that gender. Because the thing is, when you said that, I kind of wanted to resist it naturally.
Right.
But then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, of the people I know, who has a tendency to communicate communicate. I said metaphor, but you're right. Referential thing. Referential things. So like what people do I know that have a tendency to quote things and then communicate that way, or use pop culture metaphor? Well, they're mostly men. Yeah.
One of the great movie quotes that comes to mind on this subject is, say someone says something that you don't particularly agree with, or they're trying to tell you how to do something and you don't want to do it. Someone might say, well, frankly, my dear, I don't.
Right.
Yeah, and they'll say that. It expresses exactly what you're thinking.
But that's not to say that I've never seen women do this,
right?
Or that I haven't known them, or
but
and they do
kind
appreciate
of a processing thing.
I want to share this because I think this is funny. A couple that my wife and I know, the woman in the relationship has broken 2 toilets in her house, and my wife has broken 1 toilet in the house, in her house, and all 3 of their toilets in their home have been broken.
They have 3 toilets.
Yes.
First of all,
that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they broke 3 toilets in this house.
Apparently the toilets
is it
weren't
2
very nice,
full
but
and 1 half?
They had that many.
Yeah. Is it 2 full and 1 half, or 2 halves 1 whole?
Is that going to somehow be important to the
2 full 1 half? But anyway, so they've broken these toilets.
That's clarifying.
And why are we going to stretch this?
And there was this conversation about, no, I broke 1. No, I broke 2 toilets. No, I broke 1 toilet. Oh no, wait, I really did just break 1 toilet. And then I said, Roxy is not going to be outdone by Elena, being my wife. And then Dave, Roxy's husband, said, it's like a Game of Thrones.
That's hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
But that's a pun. That's different.
I loved it.
That's
but
great.
it is referential humor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And everyone appreciated it.
Yeah,
male and female alike.
But I think that we're kind of transcending into a different topic when we talk about that, because that's something that we've done throughout the course of human history, right? Where like we relate to fictional characters, and then we use them to we use those things to express ourselves. It's kind of art imitating life, and then life imitating art, right? Going back and forth because we tend to relate to the art because it's familiar to us, and then we go back to the art to express something that is familiar to us. We go back and forth.
That's interesting, because I have heard women frequently say, like, oh, it's like that thing in that movie, and then they explain whatever that thing in that movie was. And,
sure.
But that's not a quote.
That's slightly different. But here's an example of, back on topic to what we were talking about. Here's a perfect example. This is one of my favorite movies. I love Mean Girls, okay?
I like it too. It's fun.
That movie, there's a line in there that they give Gretchen that, why I remember her name from the movie specifically.
I don't remember which one that was.
Gretchen is the, well, as soon as I say this, she keeps saying, and they're trying to make this a catchphrase, but in the way that they're trying is to kind of off-put it so that it doesn't sound like they're trying, but they know they are. She says, that is so fetch. And they continue that through the movie, and then they mock her like that is not going to become a catchphrase, as if they're trying to kind of tell us that it's not, so it will become. And I could never. That's the one thing I couldn't stand about that movie. That is so fetch. But it's right on the nose. Should it be quotable just because it is, or should they try to make it like that is so fetch? I feel like it should just be quotable on its own for its own accord.
I thought it was supposed to just be commentary on things that try to make up slang, or people who try to make up slang.
Yeah, and then
of course
it's going to accidentally do that. Yeah. Like by making fun of that, they maybe inadvertently create another one.
That's true.
And there we're
it's
not
like
talking
Idiocracy. Is it stupid, or is it commenting on stupid
And where people
things?
latch onto that, like one, and I don't even remember what movie this was from because I never saw it. It's just something I heard a million times. You'll know what I'm talking about. When we were in high school, over and over again, you kept hearing people say this one time at band camp, and I don't even.
American Pie.
Thank you. I never watched that movie. I never saw that. But here's the thing, okay?
This one time at band camp,
well, that was a thing.
And I went to orchestra camp.
It was like an in-joke thing.
Different.
It was like, but here's the point I'm making. It was like an in-joke thing. That's not communicating anything so much as it is seeing who in the room knows the movie you're talking about. How many times have we seen this with like 20 different quotes from Office Space? Like people. Even now, I see this where somebody will walk into a room and they'll make an Office Space joke just to see who in the room is like in their Office Space clique. You know what I mean? Like you're cool if you saw that movie.
That connects you. Those people are like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's that, but I think also, not to get too
intro.
negative on this, but I think, but I think to a degree, there's also a little bit of like exclusion that goes on too.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I was in high school, I saw a lot of that with various things. One of them too was, and I don't know why this is so popular among friends my age, because it was made so much earlier than that. But
Sandlot?
No, Monty Python and the
That was
Holy Grail.
90s.
I heard so many Monty Python jokes that by the time I finally saw the movie, it wasn't funny anymore. Like I got so sick of it. But the thing was, if somebody would quote that movie, you know, if you heard somebody say like, you know, what's your favorite color, and you didn't know what they were talking about, they'd be like, what? You've never seen this movie?
Yeah, they do. Hey, I fought in your general direction.
With it's only a flesh wound, and you know,
Which that would have been pretty funny.
with Vince, and the thing is, I bring this up
It's
partly.
only a flesh wound.
Vince, I bring this up partly because I know that with you, when that happens, it instantly ruins movies for you. Like,
Yeah.
you have a tendency to, like, not want to see it now, and then when you do, you probably don't like it as well as you might have if they had just left you well enough, if they just left you well enough alone.
Anybody that says to me, "You haven't seen that? Can't believe you haven't seen that." I get really annoyed. I can't say that word on here.
Yeah.
I get really annoyed. And like Memento, people say, "I can't believe you've not seen Memento."
What's Memento?
So it's good. So I watched it. I enjoyed it. But you know what? It wasn't like an
Christopher Nolan's first big
experience.
movie.
Okay.
I just went, that was really interesting.
Right.
And then I was done. So, yeah.
So I'm just saying, I think that's part of what the whole quotability about movies thing ends up turning into. Going into actually answering the question though, as far as like how should this happen? Like I said, I think it ought to be just like, you know, the cream rises.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, from looking at this from more of a writerly perspective, especially getting outside of comedy, because there's just different ways to write those. Especially when you go absurd comedy, there's going to be a little bit of I'm trying to make a funny joke happen here. You know what I mean? And funny jokes, especially if they're short, are immediately quotable one-liners. You know what I mean? Like one of the ones I go to a lot with is in Spaceballs, and that's another one of those things where you have to have seen the movie to find this funny. But every now and again, just being random, I'll say I always drink coffee when I watch Radar. If you've seen Spaceballs, that's funny.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll say, I'll be talking to my sister, of course, I'll say, "May the Schwartz be with you."
Right.
Yeah. Which, that is quotable. I mean...
It is, but here's an example of a movie that I don't think was designed to be quotable, yet there are a few quotes from it, is Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
wrote a movie, and then everybody's like, life is like a box of chocolates.
And I think that goes back to my earlier point where some of it is repetition. It was a popular movie.
That's
People
true.
liked it. It had a quirky character that they'd never seen before, and he kept saying the same stuff over and over again. And that's part of why it keeps getting repeated. Now, here's why that one works. That one works because it came from a character place.
Yes.
Part of the reason that people quote that maybe subconsciously, or maybe I'm just totally off the moon here, but the part of the reason I think that things like that get quoted is because they remember that character. They remember somebody they liked, and you know
they can
in the
relate.
context of this movie. But the point I'm making is it's funny to them to keep saying it because it was so original at the time.
Yes.
It came from this original character that nobody had ever seen before. There's nothing like Forrest Gump before
Right.
Forrest Gump, right? And so that is quotable. Going back to Terminator, a robot saying that is funny, and it's kind of original. You know, you've not heard a robot say that before, so they keep repeating it. And so what I'm saying is, I think the best quotes tend to, especially in dramas, tend to come from a character that has his own voice. You know, you develop a three-dimensional character, you build him or her, and you have them say things that are in their character to say. So it's not a matter of right now I'm writing a line that I hope people quote or that will make this movie money. You know, this will be the thing that like we can put on a poster. You know what I mean? I'm writing this line because maybe it is hilarious in the scene, or maybe it is thought provoking or whatever. But it's the thing that person would say right now, and I think that's where it should always come from, except for in like farces and stuff.
There's a movie that has a line that has one word in the line and it's a name, and people used to use that. They just say the name and people would be like, "Oh yeah, totally." And it was McLovin from Superbad. People just go McLovin, and people would be like, "Yeah."
Yeah, which I don't even think that movie's funny, so I don't understand why everybody got a big kick
I
out of
actually
that.
really liked it, but
That was dull. But anywho, I'm not just trying to contradict you. I'm just
I totally.
I know you don't think
together
so. So
We'll agree to disagree. How's that sound?
I guess so.
Comedies are hard, but you know, different people find different things funny. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm always a bigger fan than you are. So.
I'm just not fond of Seth Rogen.
And I don't like raunchy comedies at all. So.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of raunchy comedies.
I know you are. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to 22 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street was kind of funny. I'll say.
Yeah, the sequel. I saw the trailer for it. They're going to college.
Oh, that's a thing that exists. Oh,
something else we should probably mention here, just as a footnote, is the meme thing because because a lot of memes are based on movie quotes.
Yeah,
and I think that's where all that started. Right? Was like I think in a lot of ways the internet meme thing begins with somebody says something in a movie or some other pop culture place. It gets printed on a T-shirt, and then everybody's wearing that T-shirt. Like that's where memes. You know what I mean? Like memes used to be on T-shirts, and now they're on the internet. You know what I mean?
Like true.
And bumper stickers and stuff. But yeah.
Anyway, you're right.
It's a footnote. It has.
I forget. It was you that brought up Forrest Gump?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's something in Forrest Gump. We'll say stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And so they have a section in there about being quotable. So that's a heck of a movie to bring
interesting.
up.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's actually probably the definitive example. Now that you say that, yeah.
I also want to say that in stuff like stand-up comedy, catchphrases are terrible. Don't use them. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Larry the Cable Guy.
But a lot of the most popular stand-up comedians have made their careers on
what's
those.
that saying about the rest of us? You like them.
I feel like that is
the reason I'm asking. Yeah,
because Larry the Cable Guy has some. Yeah, exactly. It's a lower form of stand-up.
Comedy. Okay.
Yeah. Get Her Done said out of context makes no sense. When he originated it, he said it during moments of his act where it made sense. Now he just says it if he's losing his audience. He yells, "Get her done!" and everybody goes, "Yay!"
Yeah, but what about "Here's your sign"?
Here's your sign. Well. Here's your sign is usually the
because
punchline or something.
True.
Yeah,
That's true.
Just like you might be a redneck. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, you might be a redneck if, and then there's the joke.
He's not just going to randomly say it.
Right.
Now, I think Larry the Cable Guy has one. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of his, but I think Larry the Cable Guy has one that does work. When you get to the end, when he gets into the end of a joke that's kind of awkward, and he says, "I don't care who you are," that's funny. That can work.
You see, that one does.
That one's okay. But I'm just saying that counts as a catchphrase.
That's funny.
Like that's on T-shirts.
Right
he said that a bunch of times. Yeah.
I was getting ready to fight you over "Get Her Done," but that's not what you're talking about.
No. I'm just saying he has one that does work.
No, that's funny right there.
And
that one works.
Like and another one, Jeff Dunham, who apparently keeps going back to which is entirely out of context and makes no sense.
I liked him the first couple times.
Isn't that the whole point of that like something went over somebody's head and they didn't understand it? Like
he was pointing at some guy during one of his shows, making fun of this person for not getting a joke, and did the "nyerp" thing. And then in one of his subsequent shows, he kept going "nyerp," and what are you talking about?
So you're saying
who's not getting your joke?
Yeah, so that's cheap. That's cheap laughs.
Yeah. Unless you're telling me that I didn't get it, in which case I like you significantly less than I do right now.
Good point.
So, anywho.
So, back to topic.
Well, I think we've kind of exhausted it.
Yeah.
Vince, do you have any final thoughts on this before we go to rants?
No, I really like what you said.
Yeah, you had some good
final
points
thoughts
on that.
earlier.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys brought up all kinds of great stuff, but yeah, I'm finished. Okay, let's go ahead and go on rants then. Vince, what is your rant for this week, pal?
All right. I'm getting tired. I'm seriously getting tired of this. Every time I see it, I just go... people using HD as a descriptor for things that can't possibly be HD.
I can't wait for this because I know just what he's going to talk about.
I want to know what you're talking about, boy.
I see it everywhere.
What you talking about, boy?
I get her down. I see it everywhere, and the most recent one that annoyed me was I saw HD razor blades.
What?
I was like, yeah, those razor blades are so much higher definition than those other razor blades. You know, unless they're talking about this.
Slices your eyes into pieces.
That is stupid. HD razor blade.
There are different words for that.
If I'm looking at an HD razor blade, it better zap the hairs off my face.
See, unless the HD means something different.
Yeah.
Like holy diver or something.
I just don't feel like holy diver. I don't feel like definition is the word you're looking for there, right? Like you know because and I'm not saying different thing. Definition isn't a word that doesn't work in different contexts. But I mean like
high precision would be way better.
That's not the word.
HP. But then that'd be feeling packaging.
That's not the definition. definition's not the word you're looking for.
Harry Potter.
Like, yeah, high definition means
Harry Potter
a
makes
picture
computers.
looks clear. Like,
Yeah, actually.
Razor blades.
Speaking of HD, there's just as an off note, 4K is the new thing because they were going to do organic LEDs, which was over LED. That didn't work out, so they're doing 4K resolution, which is 4 times HD resolution. We sell a $25,000 TV where I work.
Hokey smokes! That's a heck of a lot
90-inch
of
class. The largest TV ever produced, the 110-inch now by Samsung, I think, costs a whopping, guess how much it costs?
more than that.
It costs 150.
Why would anybody want a TV?
150 grand.
And Vince,
That's more.
don't you think that
HD.
don't you think that 4K makes it sound like the TVs are gonna go on a run? Like,
Nice. Watch your 4K in HD.
what it say? Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's like,
That's
man,
pretty funny.
Your
golf-
4K is HD now.
Wow, golf has never looked this good.
Your
Like,
4K is HD.
all right, so, wait. Anyway, did you have other things you wanted to talk about in your
I
rant?
see it everywhere. I task you with going out there and looking at things and going, oh, look, this is HD too. That's bizarre. Oh, look, this hamburger's HD. Who cares?
You want to know something about HD, though? I have to say this, is that with the Retina displays and the advent of 4K, there's more pixels, more resolution there than your eye could ever possibly see.
We're not shrimp.
Ever.
We can't see these things.
And we can't see those pretty colors of UV.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah,
So
Look at the pretty UV.
that's a great point.
I think my bottom line here is
Why does
that,
this razor come with an HDMI cable?
It plugs into your computer and it does things.
I think
I used to use patch cords, but this one doesn't work with those.
I think the bottom line here is that I feel like I'm being called stupid. Like I'm gonna see the letters
Yeah.
HD and I'm gonna go, oh, now that's the one that I want, and then I'm gonna go buy it because it's HD.
Speaking on that level,
It's terrible advertising.
Yeah.
Speaking on that level, I had a lady who was a customer one time. She was a very nice lady, but she just didn't know her terminology, and she bought the latest hard drive, which was in the terabyte. It was up in the terabytes, but she's like, I just love these new she's like, I just love these new hard drives, and she's like, this right here. She points to the 1 terabyte. It says TB. She called it a tigabyte because she took the G, replaced with the T. I just love these 1 gigabyte hard drives, and I did not have the heart to say, ma'am.
I didn't.
You know, the most wonderful thing about Tiggas is that Tiggas are wonderful things.
That's awesome. There was this guy that I had to work with at a flea market once in Arkansas.
Tiggas have fleas.
Who said who couldn't say DVD. He always said DDV.
Oh no!
And he was selling. And we were outside. He was selling DVDs, and maybe I've told the story. And people were coming by and looking at them, and he'd be, all these DVDs are $5.
What about?
I didn't have the heart to tell him that one either.
What about Blu-ray when they were still battling out with HD DVD?
HD.
HD, HD, DVD.
This is an HVDDV.
DHDDV.
It's a DDV.
I got some DDDVs.
Hey Brandon.
This is an HDDV.
Hey Brandon, what's your rant today, man?
My rant is now the predilection for towns around here to not send out their salt trucks and scrapers before we get a snowfall. This seems like a very bad idea. I know it's a very bad idea. I've been driving in our streets lately.
I love how just matter of fact, I know it's a bad idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now for a local rant, so all of our Australian viewers enjoy.
They're like, man, that
We
sucks.
get this thing called snow every season of winter. It's white. It's a crystalline form of the water molecule.
Oh my
it has
God.
6.
Just because it doesn't fall there, I'm sure they know what it is.
People just unsubscribe.
No, of course I'm making a joke. That was a joke, guys. Turn it back on.
You know, incidentally, when I was in high school, we had this this exchange student from Thailand, and she was jumping around in the snow, and she said, "I've never seen this before."
Yeah,
I've met a couple of people who've not seen snow before, and they're fascinated by it. And I'm like, this stuff sucks.
And she was adorable, I thought.
But the thing you have to remember is when you were a kid, the first time you saw snow, I mean, like, it's a magical thing. You know what I
Of
mean?
course,
So,
absolutely. Now,
I don't care what age you are, the
I
first
like-
time you see snow, it's a big deal.
I like
And a
the
snowman
snow.
who wants to go out and frolic in the sun.
That's a suicidal snowman. Nobody wants that.
Well,
Frosty
they dealt with
the
that in the movie.
Suicidal
You didn't see
Snowman?
Frozen.
So does
I have not seen
They dealt
Frozen.
with that in the movie. Anyway.
Oh, really?
referential humor.
Yay! Yeah, you're not in our.
circular.
Yeah,
back
you're not in our group anymore because you didn't see that movie. I'm just kidding.
No.
Anyway, so what else about your ice scraper
The
rant?
snow. Oh, speaking of ice scrapers, the ice that we had, I destroyed my ice scraper.
Did you
I had to
really?
buy the teeth. The ones with the little teeth don't work. Don't buy the ice scrapers with the little teeth. Buy the ones with the solid strip because I broke. I broke five of the nine. Five of the 9 things off.
The
Anyway,
brass tip ones work so much better.
They scratch your glass too.
Well, you got to be smarter than the.
And if you're not careful,
Smarter than the ice.
I see some people who are chip, 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 chip,
Yeah,
chip.
you see, you go at it at an angle. You can't just push in because you'll
Right, I
scratch
get
your-
that. Okay, so anyway, the salt trucks used to prepare for winter, and they used to salt the streets when it was starting to snow to help prevent the buildup of ice. We've all seen it around here. Well, they don't do that anymore, and they hardly come out when it dumps. We've had the most snow we've had in a decade and a half last year, and we're
Yeah.
going to get it this year, and they're not doing it.
Maybe the state's broke. Who knows?
That would be Brownback's fault.
We can't get political on the channel.
Oh, we just got political about the weather on the channel. That's fantastic.
That's music.
What is the weather of politics these days? Anyway, no, back to you, Vince.
All right, so
I like that on every level.
So my rant is, yeah, that was fun. My rant, Vince, is yet another. I feel like a broken record having to go back to this all the time, but this is going to be in very short. Yet another remake rant. Do we have to remake The Crow? Could we maybe not do that?
Remaking The Crow?
Yeah, and
a guy died in that film.
That's the whole reason I'm bringing this up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like this is fair to Brandon Lee, man. Like,
I don't either.
Because it was a masterful performance, one of my favorite movies, and I just don't like that we're remaking it.
Why remake something that is not out of date?
That's the thing, is that it's not out of date.
Why not
You know
just
that it's-
re-release something?
You know it's going to be too much of a callback thing, probably. Now, again, I don't want to review the thing before it comes out. I always say that.
Oh.
I'd love to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it's one of those things where I feel like it's not a good idea for a project in the first place. For a couple big reasons. The first is just what you said. It's not out of date. It is a product of its time. But I feel like it's it's likely that when they make another one, it's going to still feel like a product of that time. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how you update that movie. I don't know how you do that character, and he's not all about the stuff that guy was about. You know what I mean? Like there was so much of a theme of kind of like independence and anti-establishment.
Is it gonna be the exact same story?
I don't know, but the other thing,
Because it is based on comics, right?
it is, but the thing is, the comics had that sensibility. So I mean, and we're a period of that time. The other thing is, the mythology of the Crow is something that could potentially be updated. All you have to do is do a different character. There's no reason they couldn't do a sequel where nobody needed to have seen any of the others. First of all, nobody likes any
Just
of
try
the
to
other.
make a good one.
Nobody likes any of the other Crow movies, and I think they have. I don't know them. I think maybe they have, at least on one occasion, tried doing a different character that wasn't that character, but still was affected by the Crow, right? Well, I don't know why you couldn't just do that on a big screen budget, because most of those are direct-to-video movies. Like I don't know why you couldn't do that again, but just do it better, and then you could do it updated. What I mean is, the Crow doesn't have to be like a rock god every time. You know what I mean? Like the Crow could be about other things potentially. It wouldn't have to always have that. I mean, it could still be kind of gothic and kind of macabre, but it wouldn't have to be that every time, right? So I don't know. I'm just annoyed that it's happening, because I don't want it to be another one of those things where there's like this really kind of lukewarm remake that's not anything like as good as the original, but the aesthetic things that it brings with it that looked like the original get people interested in it, so they never look at the other one, but then they think this is the definitive, and then it misses the point of everything the original was about. I hope it doesn't do that, but this has happened with a lot of remakes I've seen lately, and I just don't want to see it happen with this one. So again, this is a rant, as I always say, not a review. I'm not reviewing anything here.
It could be great.
It could be great, and if it is, fantastic, but I just wish it wasn't happening. That's all I'm saying.
That's an interesting point, but we have touched before on the fact that the new remake gets people into that, and they think, oh, that's great, but then you're like, well, did you see the original? that's
and
awesome.
then,
And they're like,
you know,
no.
younger kids or whatever might not want to see the original
Exactly.
because this is set in present day, and so it's contemporary.
Tune in next time when we talk about whether or not something should be re-released or remade.
We've done this though. I mean, haven't we done
I don't
that
think
show?
so.
Oh well, we released a remake. Yeah, but I'm just saying we've done so many remake shows now. Like
I could do a rant on direct to DVD, direct to video. That's the worst in marketing, I think. But
yeah, we can do some stuff on that. Well, that's not a terrible idea for a video, Vince. I'm just afraid we probably say a lot of the same things we've said about remakes before. You know?
Fair enough.
I mean, I was a little trepidatious about even bringing this up just because I've talked so many times about remakes. But
well,
yeah.
anyway, kudos to you though for the topic that we had.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was
Well,
great.
thank you. And thank you for bringing your face.
You're welcome.
On that note, everybody, thanks as always for watching Geeks Not Nerds. Brandon, thanks for joining us again.
Absolutely.
This was a really fun show. Really appreciate it. And Vince and I will be back with you again next week with another video. It sounds like Vince really wants to talk about remakes some more, so that might happen again.
And speaking of videos and movies, hopefully we can get back to the theater too.
We will. Yes, that should happen soon. And in the meantime, we'll see you next time. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And Happy New Year. I'm Brandon.